doing. He's applying leverage to Russia to get a better deal. Here's basically my view of it. The war should have never happened, but now that it happened, we're in it. And no one wants to say that on our side. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I understand, wouldn't want to say that. But when you really analyze the geopolitical reality there, the strategic reality, that's kind of what it is.
Pre-record back of another video. I got some more Nick Fuentes clips for you guys today. First clip I got for you guys is Nick talking about if the possibility of Trump surrendering to Russia, it would be disastrous for America, and it would be, it wouldn't be good, that's for sure. And China and Russia, they would influence the rest of the world, They would do whatever they want, go haywire, take over whatever they think they want, and it wouldn't be good, That's if it were to happen. But yeah, I'm gonna let Nick do the talking. I'll ask if you guys like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on the video. It really helps me out, helps the channel out. Nick's live Monday through Friday on Rumble. And yeah, I'm gonna let you guys enjoy it.
What do you expect Trump more to do regarding Ukraine? He literally begged Putin. You sound like a petty nationalist. Let Putin just have Eastern Europe?
I would just let Ukraine collapse, honestly. Then again, if I were president, maybe it'd be... If I were president, to tell you the truth, I'd be backing him to the hilt, because you really can't do that. Everybody says you got to just pull the plug on Ukraine, but what are you going to do? Okay, let's say you pull the plug on Ukraine. The whole world is going to say that America is an unreliable ally. We pulled the rug on them. Zelensky's going to have his head on a stick in Russia. Russia will take the country, and who's to say they will stop there? If the United States doesn't protect Ukraine, will they protect Estonia? Maybe Putin starts to test the other countries. I mean, at least that's hypothetical. I'm not one of these people that believes Putin wants to rebuild the Soviet Union, but look, Putin is ruthless. A lot of people think that Putin is like, he's a nationalist, and he's a really good guy, but he's just been treated badly by like Obama. That's not true. Putin is a realist. Putin is going to take as much as he can get. And it's in our interest to take as much as we can get. And we're going to need to draw a new line. We're going to have to give up some stuff. We're going to have to give up those 4 provinces in Ukraine at the minimum. But look, like, why not just make a rump state? If I were president, I don't know. I would bring Zelensky and Europe to heel. I'd maybe just give Putin everything east of the Dnieper River. And then maybe I'd bring the Western Ukraine into the European Union or something like that. But who knows what the real contours of the deal are. It's politics. It needs to be negotiated and fought out. I know a lot of people aren't going to love that, but it's just true, because you're right. I mean, Trump is begging Putin for peace. He's made so many overtures, and look, Putin's not going to stop because he's winning. So Trump says, hey man, I just want a ceasefire. Don't be fooled. That's good for us. Do not believe that for 2 seconds. When Trump says, hey man, I just want like a 30-day ceasefire. I just want the killing to stop, man. Who does that benefit? Ukraine is getting absolutely shit on. They have no manpower. Their front line is thin. They're having a hard time recruiting, training, mobilizing. So from Russia's point of view, let's say we freeze a line of contact for 30 days. Okay, then there's not going to be a deal in 30 days. All that does is give Ukraine 30 days to get more people on the front lines, and then they're going to kill more Russians. Like, why would Putin agree to that? So Putin has made it very clear. He said, these are my terms. Ukraine can never join NATO. We want Crimea. We want the 4 oblasts. He says we want to denazify Ukraine. We want regime change, et cetera, et cetera. There's a bunch of other stuff. We want to demilitarize Ukraine. And I'm sure some of that there's wiggle room, and some of it there isn't. I don't think it's easy to say we're just going to give up that territory, because here's what happens. If Trump just gives it up without any kind of fight, if there's no leverage, what if Putin just keeps asking for more? Let's say Trump says, all right, we're giving you these 4 oblasts. What if Putin just keeps going? What if in 3 years he takes more territory? This war's been going on for 11 years. That's where security guarantees come in. It's like, okay, if Ukraine isn't in NATO and it's demilitarized, then what would hypothetically prevent Putin from taking all of Ukraine? Doesn't he want all of Ukraine? Doesn't he want the capital? So how do you prevent Russia from restarting the war with that, but also make this deal and satisfy those conditions? That's tricky. Putin's not willing to tolerate security assurances in Western Ukraine. That's the root cause of the war that Putin talks so much about. So you're going to need to leverage Putin to accede to those security guarantees. How do you leverage him? You freeze the line of contact. How do you freeze the line of contact? You make the war hurt for Russia. You let Ukraine bomb the interior of Russia. You let them do the spider web attack. You make Putin want to stop the war so they can regroup. You collapse their economy. You put secondary sanctions and primary sanctions on energy. And that's what Trump is doing. He's applying leverage to Russia to get a better deal. Here's basically my view of it. The war should have never happened, but now that it happened, we're in it. And no one wants to say that on our side. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I understand, wouldn't want to say that. But when you really analyze the geopolitical reality there, the strategic reality, that's kind of what it is. Nobody wants to hear that. And I'm not going to win any favors from anybody. People are going to say, you're a sellout. I said this a year ago, but it's just true. We're in the war. We're in it. Like Putin has his strategic goals. And if we totally accede to those, it's going to undermine our position everywhere else in the world. That's just how that works. There is this like naive streak among the non-interventionist crowd. They think that if America stops being the big bully, everyone will play nice. It's like, no, dude, Russia and China want as much power as they can get. So do we. And we should operate in the same way. The reason the Ukraine war started is a miscalculation. We miscalculated that Russia would invade. We thought they didn't want it that bad. We didn't think they would test. And they did. And it was a colossal strategic miscalculation to not anticipate that and to respond to that, either with a negotiated settlement, like find some way to get Russia to back down, maybe not provoke it in the first place with Euromaidan. That's one. Like you let Ukraine stay in their sphere of influence, or two, you deter Russia from invading. Like there should have been a massive deployment to Ukraine that says like, look, if you invade, you're not going to win. And then it would have never happened. But now it happened. Now we're in it. And now we're in a fucking war. We're in a war with Russia. And if you think it's a good idea to say, well, America should just surrender and very like publicly and voluntarily lose. I mean, you could say that, but that's not like no president is going to want to do that. No president is going to say, okay, you could take everything you want. This isn't my war. We lost. I give up. Like, because one, no one wants that on their record. And two, every other country in the world is going to say, whoa, America said they would defend Ukraine and then they just gave up. Well, will they defend me? And then every other country is going to say, yo, America gave up. Now we could do whatever we want. They're not serious. And taken to its logical conclusion, that would shatter deterrence. It would shatter the paper tiger of American power, and it would accelerate the end of American hegemony. And China and Russia, I think, would rapidly expand their influence. There'd be wars all over the place. And America would lose its strategic posture in a significant way. And it would be detrimental. And maybe that, if you're an accelerationist, you think that's a good thing. And I get that. But strictly speaking, if you're saying, like, what should Trump realistically do? Like, the president is never going to be an accelerationist, you know? The sitting president is never going to say, I want to collapse America myself, and then I'll get, like, forced out. And then someone else, like, no one's going to think that way. So.
No, it's facts, you know. That's because if America did that, you know, let's just say, oh, we're out of the war, we're going to drop. They're going to take over and do whatever they want, and then they're going to make fun of us saying, oh, look, we punked America, you know. They're going to think that they punked us, you know. So I get where Nick's coming from that point, but it's true, though, you know. I mean, we were in the war during the Biden administration. Now Trump has to tackle it, but unfortunately Trump hasn't had no efforts because, I mean, obviously the war is still going on, you know. So but hopefully it's able to end, and yeah. All right, next clip and last clip I got for you guys is Nick talking about the America First movement and Trump and how he hasn't been able to stop the war and all that, you know. Nick Fuentes promised, or Nick promises to be gracious to those who want to put America first, and he praised Tucker for being a part of it and backing him up with the interview, you know, and putting him, platforming him, you know. So I'm gonna let you guys enjoy and
now the censorship's over, the conversation's wide open, and now we're in the game. Now we have a seat at the table, and I open it up, and I will be solicitous here, and I will say, any past beef, anybody that, look, if you didn't know the score over the last 10 years and you tried to mess with me, I will grant clemency. And by that, I mean I will be gracious. Anybody that wants to unite for the sake of America first, it might be uncomfortable, it might be awkward There's going to be a lot of water under the bridge, but I'll unite with anybody that will put America first. I'm open to that. I'm open to conversations. I'm open to debates. I'm open to alliances. I'm open to working together, squashing past beefs, forging new alliances, even if it's, like I said, maybe we don't agree 100%. That's how it has to be. And I'm willing to work with other people. I didn't get to be ostracized because I was a bad guy. I got ostracized because I was ahead of the curve. And if people are coming around now, if people are getting on the right side of history, I welcome them. I welcome them with open arms. And I would say we have a really good shot at winning. We have a positive vision. We want to put America first. We don't want to hurt anybody. We want justice. We want what's right. We want what's ours. And I think that if people follow their conscience and do the right thing, we have a chance at saving the country. But if people are still working for Ben Shapiro, if people are still being petty, people are still qualifying every word, people are still playing it safe, making it about Republicans and Democrats, it won't happen. We have to get serious. So that's my message. That's my recap, me and Tucker Carlson, and that extends to him as well. I had a great conversation with him, really fabulous conversation with him. I really liked him. Like I said, he was fair, he was honest, challenging, but honest and direct. And I thought we had an extremely productive conversation, and I hope that's a model. We had a very contentious back and forth. He reached out to me. He was very gracious. We squashed it. We did the show. We still don't agree on everything, but we talked it through. And we agree enough that we both want to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And that's what matters. And I hope everybody can take that, or whatever you think of me personally, politically, I hope people can put that aside and figure out we got a country to save. We have to realize the vision that Trump and his movement have not been able to.
It's like Nick said, they have to team up, if Trump ain't getting the job, because that's what he put it on, that was his movement, make America great again, and unfortunately he sold out to Israel. He's doing a bunch of stuff behind the closed doors, and at this point the only hope's Nick. He's the only one that really wants to put America first. It's like he said, him, even for Tucker Carlson to come up and team up with him, some good stuff, and it's helping us out, beyond, and the movement's gonna only keep on growing, But if you guys like this video, comment down below, like, subscribe. Nick's live Monday through Friday on Rumble. Link it down below in the description. Everyone have a good one. This is Pure Record out.